There's a moment every man faces. You meet someone. She's beautiful. She's charming. She lights up the room when she walks in, and somehow she chose you. At least, that's what you thought. But now, something's off. She doesn't reach out like she used to. Her eyes don't light up when she sees you anymore. The warmth is fading, and you feel it. Even if you don't want to admit it, still you wait. Still you chase. Still, you tell yourself maybe she's just busy. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe she just needs time. But deep down, there's a voice, quiet but relentless, whispering. She's not into you, and you know it. Most men ignore that voice. They double down, try harder. They send longer messages, plan better dates, tolerate the silence, hoping that if they give more, she'll feel more. But she won't, because you can't inspire love in someone who's already decided not to give it. And the longer you stay in that space, between denial and disappointment, the more you lose something vital. Your peace, your power, your self-respect. This video isn't about bitterness. It's not about blaming her. It's about waking you up before you give your whole heart to someone who's already emotionally gone. So if you're ready to face the truth like a man, not with anger, not with fear, but with quiet strength, let's begin with the first and most obvious sign. She rarely replies. 1. She rarely replies, and that says everything. Here's the brutal truth, brother. When a woman wants you, you'll know. Not because she says it, but because she shows it. She doesn't wait 8 hours to reply to a simple message. She doesn't hit you back with dry one-word texts like, LOL, maybe, K. You could text her something thoughtful, deep, or even funny. And what do you get in return? Silence. Maybe a half-smile emoji 6 hours later. Listen carefully. That's not her being shy. That's not her being busy. That's her being disinterested. Men today make one deadly mistake. They chase women who are emotionally absent while convincing themselves she's just not good at texting. Let me break that illusion. She's great at texting. She just doesn't want to text you. Check her story. She's online. She's posting selfies. She's liking posts. She's chatting, just not with you. You don't need any more proof than that. Because here's the thing. A woman who sees you as a priority will treat you like one. She won't keep you waiting. She won't let you chase. She'll engage. She'll respond. She'll reciprocate. But when she's not into you, she's just managing your presence, not embracing it. You're a filler, not a focus. And here's where most men lose all their power. They try harder. They send longer texts. They wait longer hours. They become nicer, more patient, more understanding. But all that does, it tells her you're willing to beg for attention. And that kills attraction. Because now she knows she has all the power. And you're just orbiting around her, hoping she'll throw you a crumb. Brother, wake up. A man with value doesn't chase breadcrumbs. He walks away from the table. Her silence is louder than any excuse. If she rarely replies, then she rarely cares. And that's your signal to stop texting, stop trying, and start respecting your own worth. You deserve presence, not pity. You deserve energy, not explanations. And if she's not giving you either, it's time to go. 2. She's always busy. That's her way of saying you're not a priority. Let's cut through the noise. When a woman constantly tells you, sorry, I've just been busy lately, what she's really saying is, you're not important enough for me to make time. And you need to hear that, exactly the way it is, because here's the truth about people. We make time for what we truly care about. Even the busiest people on earth still manage to reply to those they value. They find the time. They carve out windows. They want to be available because connection matters to them. But when it comes to you, she's always overwhelmed, always working late, always tired, always going through something. And you start to rationalize it. You tell yourself she's just independent. You convince yourself that she's worth waiting for. But what you're really doing is accepting breadcrumbs and calling effort. Here's the brutal truth. If she wanted to talk to you, she would. If she wanted to see you, she'd find a way. If she valued you, you wouldn't have to beg for scraps of her time. But instead, you're doing mental gymnastics, trying to interpret every "let me get back to you" as a sign of hope. It's not hope, it's hesitation. And hesitation kills momentum and respect. You see, men who don't know their value bend themselves backward trying to fit her schedule. They offer different days, flexible plans, open-ended texts. They accommodate, but what they don't realize is that every time they adjust for her silence, they're silently telling her, "You don't have to try. I'll always be here." And that destroys attraction. Because women don't respect men who are too available. They respect men who are present, but not desperate. Men who have things to do, missions to pursue, and a backbone that doesn't bend at every excuse. So here's your wake-up call. If she's always busy, then you need to be busy too. Busy building your life, not waiting in hers. Don't chase a woman through her calendar. Don't beg for space in her life. If she sees your time as optional, treat her absence as permanent, because when the right woman comes along, you won't have to fight for her time. She'll give it to you freely. 3, she never initiates, because you're not what she wants to chase. Let me tell you something that most men ignore until it's too late. If you're always the one reaching out, always the one calling, always the one starting the conversation, you're not in a relationship, you're in a performance. And she's just the audience. You send the first text. You make the first move. You plan the date. You check in, ask questions, and keep things alive. But what does she do? She replies. She reacts. She receives. And that's it. No random, "Hey, I was thinking about you." No funny meme she found and thought you like. No curiosity. No spark. No initiation. Brother, that's not love. That's convenience. Because here's the truth. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she won't sit on her hands waiting for your next move. She'll want to connect. She'll look for reasons to talk to you. She'll reach out just to feel close, even if it's just for a moment. But if she never initiates, if every single interaction starts with you, then she's telling you something with her silence. I could go a day, a week, a month without hearing from you, and it wouldn't affect me. And that should hit hard. Now, some men try to explain it away. She's shy. She's not good with words. She likes to be pursued. No, my friend, that's called denial. You're confusing lack of effort with feminine energy. But the truth is, when a woman truly wants you, she doesn't just receive, she reciprocates. If she never texts first, never checks in, never plans anything with you in mind, she's not interested in building something. She's just enjoying the perks of your attention without investing anything real. And here's what happens next. You start chasing harder, texting more, doing more, trying to prove your value to someone who doesn't even want to hold on to you. And that's when it gets dangerous. Because now, she has your effort, your energy, your heart, without ever lifting a finger. And the moment she finds someone who actually sparks her fire, you're gone, left behind, confused, empty. So here's the rule. A man with self-respect does not chase silence. He does not perform for someone unwilling to participate. He does not continue building something with someone who won't even show up. You want to know where you stand with a woman? Stop texting first. See what happens. And if she disappears, then you were never really there to begin with. For when she pulls away and you feel in your soul, there's a certain kind of pain that doesn't come from shouting matches or harsh words. It comes from a woman you care about slowly stepping away, not in anger, but in silence. You lean in and she leans back. You reach for her hand and she hesitates. You try to sit closer and suddenly there's distance where warmth used to be. She's still in the room, but you feel like a stranger. And that hits a man harder than he'll admit. Because physical closeness isn't just about affection. It's about connection. It's a subtle way someone says, "You matter to me," without speaking. And when that disappears, you start questioning everything. Was it something you did? Did you stop being enough? Why does it feel like you're slowly becoming invisible in the eyes of the woman you once made laugh? And that confusion turns into self-doubt. It creeps into your thoughts, your posture, your confidence. But let me tell you something that might save you from chasing ghosts. You don't beg to be touched. You don't earn love by overgiving. And you damn sure don't lower your worth to feel close to someone who's already drifted away. See, Stoic strength doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means you don't let pain control your direction. You feel the sting and still choose clarity. You accept what's being shown to you. If she can't be close to you, she's already let go of you emotionally. And so you make the strongest move a man can make. You stop reaching for someone who no longer reaches back. You don't slam the door. You don't demand explanations. You don't throw ultimatums. You stand up, you breathe deep, and you walk away with your dignity intact. Because that silence, that coldness, that space, it's not your fault. It's just the truth whispering in the distance. And when you let go of someone who won't hold you anymore, you create room for something better. A connection where closeness is effortless, where touch feels natural, and where your presence is actually wanted. 5. When she talks about other men, she's quietly pushing you away. There's a moment every man remembers. You're sitting with her. Maybe things feel off, but you're still holding on, still hoping. Then she says it. This guy at work keeps texting me. My ex is still around. There's this guy I used to talk to. He was kind of sweet. At first, you brush it off. You tell yourself she's just being honest. Maybe she wants to be open, transparent. But something inside you shifts. Because it doesn't feel like honesty. It feels like a message. You're not the one. Here's the truth no one tells you. A woman who's into you doesn't parade other men in your presence. She doesn't casually bring up how attractive someone else is. She doesn't smile while telling you how another guy flirted with her at the gym. That's not openness. That's distancing. That's her slowly writing you out of the story, one name at a time. And as a man, it hits differently. You start asking yourself, is she comparing me to them? Am I just another guy on her list? Is she hoping I'll step up or step away? But this is where most men make the wrong move. They double down, try harder, compete with the ghosts of other men. They start performing, trying to prove they're better than the ones she talks about. But let me tell you, you don't win a woman's respect by fighting for her attention in a crowd she created. That's not strength. That's surrendering your power. Because a woman who wants you will protect your space. She won't let other men into the frame. She'll keep the connection sacred. Not because you asked her to, but because she feels it, values it, honors it. But when she keeps talking about other men, she's telling you you're not a threat. She's treating you like a brother, a therapist, or a casual fan on the sideline. And that hurts. Because deep down, you were ready to give her your focus, your effort, your loyalty. But what she really wants is validation, not commitment. Attention, not connection. And the more you stay, the more you become the guy she confides in, not the man she chooses. So what do? You stop reacting. You stop competing. You stop being emotionally available to someone who's emotionally elsewhere. You listen to what she's really saying, not with her words, but with her patterns. And when the message is clear, you do what a Stoic man must. You walk, not because you're bitter, not because you're hurt, but because you're finally honest enough to admit, I deserve a woman who only sees me when she's with me, not someone who's always pointing out the door to someone else. 6. She doesn't ask you questions because she's not curious about your soul. There's a silence that's louder than words. It's not her ignoring your text. It's not her canceling plans. It's not even her talking about other men. It's when she sits right across from you, smiles, nods, pretends to listen, but never asks you a single thing about who you are. She doesn't ask what drives you. She doesn't wonder about your past, your family, your goals. She doesn't care how your day went. Not really. And that's when it hits you. You're not a mystery she wants to explore. You're just noise she's learned to tolerate. And that cuts deep, because men, real men, don't just want to be seen. They want to be known. We want to share parts of ourselves that we don't show the world. Our scars, our stories, our silence. But when you're with a woman who never reaches for those parts of you, you start to feel like a ghost in your own relationship. You do all the asking, all the checking in, all the how are you, what's on your mind, tell me more. And she responds, politely, passively, predictably, but never once does she flip the script and ask you, what matters to you? What's your story? What do you really want in life? That's not connection. That's a monologue. And most men ignore it because she's nice, because she shows up, because it's not bad, just empty. But here's what you need to know. Interest shows up as curiosity. When a woman is drawn to you, she can't help herself. She wants to dive in, understand how your mind works, what your childhood was like, what keeps you up at night. She leans forward when you speak, not just with her body, but with her spirit. And when she doesn't, when every question is one-sided, when every conversation feels like you're pulling all the weight, it means she's already checked out emotionally, mentally, and maybe even spiritually. She's there, but not really. And the longer you stay, the more you start to question if your voice even matters anymore. You start to shrink, to doubt, to overperform, hoping she'll finally lean in and say, tell me more. But she never does. And that's your sign. You deserve to be discovered, not tolerated. You deserve to be explored, not ignored. So don't waste your depth on someone who only wants the surface. Pull back, not to punish her, but to protect yourself. Because when a woman never asks about you, it's not because she's shy, it's because she's not invested. And the man who values himself knows this. I don't chase those who don't care to know me. I don't give my story to someone who never asked to hear it. Let her silence echo, and then walk toward the one who can't wait to know your soul. 7, she keeps you a secret, and that's the loudest answer you'll ever get. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. She doesn't post pictures of you, doesn't introduce you to friends, doesn't mention you when she talks about her weekend. You tell yourself, she's just private. She likes to take things slow. She was hurt before. But the longer it goes on, the more it starts to sting. Because real connection, real affection, wants to be seen. Not broadcasted for likes, not shouted from rooftops, but acknowledged. And when she won't even say your name out loud. When you've been around for weeks, maybe months, and no one in her world knows you exist, that's not privacy. That's exclusion. You're not part of her life. You're orbiting it. And slowly, painfully, you realize you're not her partner. You're her secret. You're the late night message, the after hours call, the one she reaches out to when she's bored, but disappears when the lights come on. She doesn't invite you to events, doesn't introduce you to her circle, doesn't even acknowledge your presence when others are around. And deep down, you know what that means. She's keeping her options open. She's afraid that publicly choosing you might cost her something better. So she keeps you close, but never close enough. And you stay, because you think maybe it'll change. Maybe one day she'll say, this is the man I'm proud of. But brother, that day never comes. Because if she was proud of you, if she felt deeply for you, you wouldn't have to ask to be seen. You wouldn't have to wonder why you're still a secret. She would bring you into her world naturally, because that's what love does. It invites, not hides. And here's the part that hurts the most. The longer you stay invisible, the more you start to believe you're not worthy of being seen. But that's the lie. You're not hidden because you're not enough. You're hidden because she never chose you fully. And maybe, just maybe, she never intended to. So what do? You don't force your way into her life. You don't beg to be introduced. You don't try to earn your way into her spotlight. You walk, not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of quiet, immovable self-respect. Because the right woman, she'll be proud to say your name. She'll want her world to know you, not because she's showing off, but because you matter to her, and you deserve to be seen. If you saw yourself in any of those 7 signs, I know it hurts, Because every man who's ever given his heart to the wrong woman knows what it's like to feel invisible in plain sight. But this pain, it's not here to break you. It's here to wake you, to remind you that your worth was never measured by how much effort you gave her. It's measured by how much truth you're willing to accept and how deeply you choose to respect yourself once you've seen it. So here's what I want you to remember. You are not here to convince anyone to love you. You are not here to chase, to beg, to wait for crumbs. You are here to lead. And a man who leads doesn't stay where he isn't wanted. He doesn't shrink to be tolerated. He doesn't beg to be chosen. He walks away with calm, quiet dignity and lets her absence echo in the silence he leaves behind. Because the man who chooses himself becomes unforgettable. If this video spoke to you, if it opened your eyes or helped you let go, then I ask you do one thing. Subscribe, not just to this channel, but to a new standard. A standard where you stop chasing what isn't choosing you. A standard where you hold your head high, even when your heart feels low. A standard where you lead and let the right woman follow. Drop a comment below. Let me know which of the signs hit home the most. And if you're walking away today, know this, you're not alone. You're just finally awake. This is a Stoic path. And you, my friend, you just took your first step